We're back at the shop after our dyno day, and we managed to squeeze more power out of this thing with the downpipe, so our stage 2 package is complete. Now, before throwing on the intercooler and some of the mods that are associated with stage 3, we are gonna be focusing on the braking and handling side of things. So the guys at Faction Fab were kind enough to send us all of this cool stuff in front of us, including their track spec coilovers, some rotors and pads, and these 25mm spacers. So we're gonna start throwing these things on and get the car handling a little bit better, braking a little bit better, and looking a lot better. So let's start with taking the wheels off and probably throwing these coilovers on first. Okay, so we've got the factory strut out, and now we can compare it to the Faction Fab coilover, and straight away you can see the big difference is size. The Faction Fab coilover is significantly smaller, but it has a lot more adjustable features. So not only can you adjust the ride height like with most coilovers, but also the preload, the dampening, and the camber with this nice front camber plate on here. So it gives you a lot of room to play with. Now ours is the FR spec. There's also the F spec and the FL. So that's kind of the street version and the lowering or stance version. Ours is more track oriented. It's got stiffer springs and a lot of that adjustability, like I mentioned, to be able to take our car out to the track and have it handle really nicely. And I've got a feeling, just looking at these two, that this is gonna be a lot more effective for aggressive and track driving compared to this thing. Now, as you can see, the brake setup on the 2020 STI is very impressive. You have a huge caliper, this massive rotor, and it's really been a pleasure to drive this thing over the last couple of weeks. But like with anything, we can make some improvements over stock, and this is where Faction Fab comes in with their Rotor and Pad Upgrade. Now, this is specifically designed to be able to handle some more of the aggressive driving, some autocross or light track use, those sort of things. So we're gonna throw that on, and while we're down here, we're also gonna put on the Faction Fab 25mm spacer. Now, not only is this gonna widen the track width of our car, so it's gonna handle a little bit better, but it's gonna make it look a lot better, especially since we're using the OE wheels on this. Once we set it down on the ground and we have a little camber dialed in, it's gonna look a lot better poked out by about an inch versus stock. So let's throw this stuff on, get it back down on the ground, we'll see how it looks, and then we'll take it out of the shop and see exactly what kind of differences all of the handling and brake mods have made. Well, here it is. It's all buttoned up, and I gotta say, it looks really good, especially the coilover. You guys saw what the factory strut looked like, and in comparison to the Faction Fab coil, huge world of difference. And also in the handling department, it will be a huge world of difference as well. So these are some really good entry-level mods. Not only do they look great, they're gonna work great, but they complement the stuff we've done under the hood. So we've increased the power, and to complement it, we've also increased the handling and a bit of the braking as well. So what's left to do is to get to the rear, do the same stuff there, and then go over the passenger side of the car and finish it out. Then we'll get on the ground, we'll get out in the street, and we'll do a bit of a comparison of what the increase in power and all the stuff we've done underneath here feels like. And after that, we're gonna go into a little bit of detail on the next episode where we're installing the Stage 3 package and what we're gonna be doing there. But for now, I'm focused on finishing this up and having a bit of a drive in it. Well, I've got the car off the lift, and I gotta say, it looks really good with this setup. It's not crazy low, it's not stanced out. It's actually a perfect setup for what we're gonna be using it for, which is aggressive driving, maybe some track days, some autocross, things like that. And that is what the coilovers are designed specifically for. The spacers as well, they popped everything out about an inch, and it looks a lot better from the side of the car. Not only is it increasing the track width, like I mentioned, making it handle a little bit better, but the look is really good, especially with these factory 19-inch wheels. So I'm really happy we didn't just jump into an aftermarket wheel setup. We very much improved on what the factory gave us. It's a great look, and now it's even better. So now that we've got the performance and the handling mods all sorted, we're gonna move on to the exterior and do a couple more aggressive mods, including the front lip and side skirts that we got from OLM and GrimmSpeed. So we're gonna throw those on, and at the same time, we wanna make the side of the car a little less boring. So we printed out some custom GrimmSpeed vinyl that matches our windshield banner, and we're gonna throw that on and then give the car a wash and make it look nice. All right, well, we're taking the STI out for sort of the maiden voyage after the power increase and the suspension modifications that we did. And we're on an industrial road, so bear with me if it's a little bit shaky while Clinton's filming in the passenger seat here. But I know that this area is a good one for a couple of corners, and that's really where we want to test this stuff out. So we're coming up on a couple here. I'm going to push it a little bit harder than we have, and we'll see how the car reacts to it. And then we can kind of talk about what this whole package has done to the car. But let's do it. All right, that felt really nice. It feels really good to push this car with all of the added things that we put on it. That extra power feels great coming out of the corners. The brakes are doing a great job of, if I have to slow down coming into a corner, I feel really confident on that. And then of course the way we take the actual corner, the coilovers have helped immensely. Now we're on the Faction Fab FR Spec coilover, which is the track oriented coilover. It's a little bit more aggressive than their street version, and that's exactly what we're going for. I mean, we're streeting this car, but we're kind of treating it, as you just saw, like a track car. So they felt great through the corners, and that isn't even with the adjustability kind of fully taken into account, because we've just put on the basic settings and gone from there. So once these are fully dialed in, the coilovers are awesome. The wheel spacers from Faction Fab are giving us more track width, so it's a little bit of a better feel that way as well. And their brakes, their pads and rotors kind of are making a complete package for us to be able to use the power that we've added to this car. So I am happy. You can't see underneath my mask, but I got a big smile ear to ear right now. Well, we've had our fun for the day, but I think it's probably time to wrap things up. We've pushed our luck just a little bit with some of the speed limits around here, and I think it's probably a good time to end it, especially with the sun setting. This is gonna be great for Clinton to hop out and get some exterior footage of this car, because not only did we add some power and some handling mods to this, but we also made some changes with the OLM side skirts, the front lip, and then some of the vinyl additions that we made to the car. So it's looking really good right now. I think we're gonna find a parking lot and let Clinton do his thing.